Subscriber Dylan Wells asks, what are Disney's policies on video cameras? Are you allowed to use professional recording equipment, or can you only use small handheld cameras? Great question, Dylan. So I wanted to make a video about this question because I think it's a very interesting topic because there's no clear black and white answer to this. Now, there seems to be one. Disney does have a policy. They do have a set of rules. You can find them on their website. And their policy does state that you cannot use professional recording equipment in the parks. At the very least, you can't do it just willy-nilly. You have to go ahead and you have to reach out to Disney. You have to communicate with them. You probably have to get permits. You probably have to pay a fee. And then you can use professional recording equipment. That said, what is professional recording equipment? That's the big question that I think today more than ever has muddied this rule that makes this a very interesting terrain to navigate. So for instance, the camera I'm recording this on, is this professional equipment? I don't think so. I mean, I could just buy it on Amazon. It's not the sort of thing you have to go to a trade specialist for, yet it's pretty high quality, at least I hope it is. And it can put out, HD video, no different than something that a professional would. Take this for instance. So I like to bring to Disney my DSLR. It's got a zoom lens. Again, this is something you could buy on Amazon. So to that end, it's not necessarily a professional piece of equipment. Yet there are plenty of short films, independent films that shoot on cameras just like this. So where is that line drawn between professional and amateur? Now, some people might say intention. Professional could be the intention to make money off of your works. Part of the rules that Disney states is that it can't be for commercial use. But again, that is also pretty muddy waters. Okay, let's talk about vlogging. And this one I was debating on bringing up because I don't really want to open this can of worms if, anybody at Disney ever does end up watching this. But vlogging is, in a way, a for-profit. It's a commercial product. If you look at your most popular Disney vloggers out there, odds are they're running ads on their YouTube videos. It's not anything to be ashamed of. I do it with my videos. It's a way of bringing in income that helps support the channel. It's why I can afford a light or a camera or something like that, which can make my content better for when I do go to the parks. But that said, that does kind of make vlogs a commercial product, which according to the rules of Disney is not allowed. Now, realistically, you have to consider the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The letter of the law in this case would say that my vlogs are not allowed, or any of the big vloggers, their vlogs wouldn't be allowed in the parks. But the spirit of the law, well, falls into a couple of things. One, how do you catch it? These days, vlogging is done on a small camera. I could do it with my cell phone. So how would somebody at the park know whether I'm vlogging for commercial purposes or vlogging, just for fun to send to my family? They wouldn't, is the answer. And that's probably why you wouldn't see a whole lot of vloggers, them cracking down on it. I think another aspect to keep in mind is what message is this product sending? More often than not, if somebody is vlogging in Disney, they're doing it because they're fans of Disney. At least I haven't really found a lot of Disney vlogs where they hate Disney. And so from Disney's perspective, they really don't have a lot of incentive to enforce those rules because it's sort of like free marketing for them. You watch these videos, you like Disney, it gets you in the mood, maybe you book a trip, that helps their bottom line. So they have no real reason to shut it down. And then there's that added level of just, how does the person making the product know if it's going to be commercial or not? You could have somebody just recording a home movie with their cell phone for friends and then decide later to put it up on a YouTube channel, and now suddenly it's a commercial product because they're running ads against it, they're making money. They don't know at the time. So that's sort of how that works. I think it's pretty much, you use your common sense. A camera like the one I'm recording this with, which is this tiny little pocketable camera, fine. A DSLR like this, also pretty fine. Where you start to run into rules that actually get enforced a bit are when it comes to equipment outside of that. Don't ever count on bringing in light stands or lights in general. That's just, it's never going to happen. They're not going to allow it. Tripods are a different story. So the rule of the tripod is you can bring in a tripod as long as it is small enough to fit in your book bag. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you need a mini tripod. I've seen people bring in, full-size tripod, like the one that's sort of holding this camera up to record shows that they'll later put on YouTube, and they totally allow that. But there is a difference between sort of a light tripod and a heavy tripod. So to give you, for instance, a light one might have really thin tubing. So it's small, it's compact, it would actually fold up and fit into a book bag. Yet, for example, the tripod that's holding this camera up is sort of more of a professional tripod and requires its own carrying case. And it's pretty heavy. And so tripods like this one would not be allowed into the park. On top of that, you can bring in things like this. It's a mini tripod. You just fold out the legs. It's really nice because you can just plop it down on top of like a garbage can or something, and you know, you got a nice steady shot there. So yeah, tripods are a little bit more flexible. You could bring in ones that'll fit within a bag, or mini tripods. Anything beyond that, light stands or C-stands or anything more industrial, forget about it. It's not gonna happen. You'd have to work with Disney and get the permits to do an actual real shoot there. Microphones, probably in the same vein of that. So right now I'm wearing a lavalier microphone. It clips onto my sweater and goes in, there's a little recorder that goes into my pocket. I could probably get away with bringing this in. It is semi-professional. You don't see a lot of amateurs bring stuff like that in, but at the same time, it's small. It goes in my pocket. You know, it's not the kind of thing that I think they'll shut down. This camera, for instance, right up here is a shotgun microphone, which is somewhat of a directional microphone. Again, this isn't the sort of thing I think an amateur or, you know, a hobbyist would have, but they'll probably allow it. Yet if you want to bring a boom mic, which is what you see in the movies with them holding it on a stick over the actor, they're not going to allow that in. I think at the end of the day, if you're trying to consider what you can and can't bring, just think about what effect does it have on the guests. If I clip a lav to my sweater and I hold out this camera with my arm, they're not going to care. I'm not interrupting anybody. I'm not doing anything that's disruptive any more than taking a selfie with my family or friends, right? But if I'm like trying to set down tripods and lights and I'm trying to block off areas so I can shoot something that I'm planning, yeah, they're totally going to step in on that and they're going to shut it down. And then on top of that, selfie sticks. No selfie sticks. They're not allowed. Don't even try it. The reason for this is for safety. They don't mind selfie sticks, or they didn't mind, I should say, selfie sticks in the like park areas as much. What they really didn't want was people using selfie sticks on the rides, because every ride, I forgot if the term is correct here, has sort of like a sphere of safety or a cone of safety. And the idea is, you know, if you're on something like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, there is a range that you're supposed to be able to reach out and you won't have to worry about hitting anything or getting hurt. And having a selfie stick suddenly takes your, you know, arm, which is of an average length, and makes it 3 times longer, and that changes everything. So they needed to put a stop to that. They tried to, you know, get people to just use them when walking around, but too many people were still using them on rides. So they just said, no selfie sticks. So don't try to bring those in. They will check them, and then you have to pick them up when you're leaving the park at the end of the day. So I hope this helped everybody. It is definitely an interesting field. You know, I remember there was a rumor a couple of months back that they were going to start cracking down on people live streaming from within the parks. Ended up not really being true, but they do have the ability to do that if they wanted to. They could go around, try and see somebody who's on like Facebook streaming or Periscope or something, and they could shut it down. It's within their rights. It's their private property. But I think at the end of the day, you have to consider common sense. Is what you're doing going to make Disney look better? They're probably going to be okay with it. Is it non-disruptive to the guests? They're probably going to be okay with it. Everything else, that's where it gets questionable. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions regarding park stuff, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you want to see more Disney content, I do 3 videos a week, so all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Have a great week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.